breakup is the beginning of a very long process. So, whatever you're feeling at the very beginning, and you're saying to yourself, these are the conversations we had, these are the words that are spoken, you feel frozen in time. You think you're always going to feel like that, and you also think your ex is always going to feel like that. But I'm here to tell you that over the next few months and weeks, months, and even years, it changes in so many different ways. The mindset changes, the way people look at things, the feelings that we had at the very beginning aren't close to that after a bit of time. So when you're really panic stricken in the beginning and saying, oh my gosh, like, I don't know what happened. Was it me? Was it them? Was it a combination? Everything was so flat. Everything was cold. The conversations we had hurt my brain to this moment. You're going to remember word for word the breakup conversation. But most of the time, the further you get from that conversation, the more you get away from it as far as even the feelings that were happening in that time. Because by the time a breakup happens, one person has come to their end. They have mentally prepared for this. They don't see any other way out of whatever uncomfortable feelings they're having, whatever unhappiness they have been feeling. They don't know how else to get out of that. So they're going to shut down. They're going to seem cold. They're going to seem like, this is my decision and it's forever. I don't see us really discussing anything different. I don't know how this is going to change. We've tried and it's not working. And it seems so final in that moment. So the fear is overwhelming because we start to think, are we ever going to talk to this person again? Are they going to be part of our life in any way? Or is this it? Is this it? And how in the world could this be it when we had so much good in the past? And I still see so much possibility for the two of us. Why is it one person sees that there are answers and resolutions and the other person feels like, I don't see it. I don't see it. So usually one person is of that mindset and the other is thinking this is the absolute end and I don't see any other way around it. Rarely are the breakups mutual, and those are a much different animal. But the ones that it's one person making a really strong decision and the other feeling like there's a ton of possibilities and I don't feel like my story is over, there's a lot that's going to play out in that relationship. So over the next few months and sometimes longer, it's really important to calm yourself by saying, when a person comes for a breakup, they're in a certain state of mind, they don't see any other way around it, and this is how the people are feeling. Then they are off for the next few months creating the life that they think is going to be better, doing what it is they feel like they need to do with whomever they feel like they need to do it with. So the next few months out of the breakup, they're polarizing. You're on two separate ends of the spectrum. No good conversation is usually going to come in the first few months. And I know people start to feel like, oh my gosh, it's been 3 months. We're not back together. It's been 6 months. We're not back together. And you're still in a state of limbo because you don't know how this is going to play out. But it's really important to say to yourself as well, while they go about and rebuild their life, even though you're in a lot of grief and a lot of pain, you're also going to start rebuilding your life. Then over some time, once all the emotions start to settle, and once people really get a handle on what were the problems in that relationship, were they one person with something internal that was happening, some struggles that they maybe brought in? Was it two people together? Was it a mixture of both? Once people start to get aware of the real issues, and this happens for both people over a bit of time, even the person that felt like there was no hope at all. Once you both get to the other side of it and start to think about what were those issues, were they solvable? Now that I don't need that person in my life, because you've learned to live on your own a little bit, you've got some balance, you're not happy, you're not thriving yet or anything of the sort, but you're balanced. And once you hit that balance, you are able to look clearly at that relationship. And this is when you recognize something had to change. Something was off. Whatever it was, whoever has more culpability, there's always one, whatever it is. Once you decide what the problems were, what was being overlooked, everybody is in a position to decide whether or not this union should happen and people should get back in there. And even the person who made the decision at the beginning of the breakup and felt completely sure about it, it isn't until they actually lose you and create a new life and have to weigh these two separate lives against each other and really decide What's the better option for them? What works for them? What direction do they feel like they want to go in? That's going to happen over time. Then everybody can make the decision. Do you have conversation? Do you come back together and talk about it? Do you decide that a clean slate is easier? And is it better to go in that other direction? And you also have to recognize that the person you were in the relationship with, if you are still believing that that relationship could get through those problems and they are not believing in that, well, then you have to look at that person and say, can they go a lifetime with you? Because if they don't believe that those problems are solvable and they can hang in there and lean in and do the work that it takes to grow roots deeper, because that's how couples get stronger. Whenever you go through the difficult times in life, when you commit to saying, it's me and you, we're going to have trouble, we're going to have problems, things are going to come up in life, and you bet they are. You need someone by your side who is going to fight for it. It's not easy. So if this person is choosing not to take that road and they think maybe another road is an easier road, there's no repair to happen, they're not going to repeat a problem, they are going to have to make that decision for themselves. But if they don't choose to go all in when you still believe that this couple could have made it, that's not going to be your person. That's not going to be your person. Your person is going to say, it's me and you. You're not getting rid of me. I don't care what comes up in our life. We are getting through it together. That's what you need. So if both people get to a point after a period of time after a breakup, and the other person also starts to feel like those problems were solvable, and I am far from where I was feeling at the very moment of breakup, because that coldness comes to an end. They start to return to the person that they were before, because most people come for a breakup in the middle of a crisis. They're struggling, they're down, they're low, they're detaching in some way. You can feel the coldness, but if that isn't necessarily your person and you don't recognize them in that moment, they could be going through a crisis of sorts. And so once they come out the other side, then they're going to return back to who they normally are and have a lot of those same feelings. A lot of the negatives are going to fade. A lot of the positives are going to rise to the top. The possibilities are going to be seen more than they were at the moment of breakup. Everybody has gotten far away from that breakup moment, and now decisions have to be made. And this is where nobody knows which way it goes. We don't know if the person is going to feel like they have it in them to go back and repair, because it's a lot of work. People are mad. There are other people involved. They know they've made some mistakes. They know there's a lot of pain there. You are hurt. You don't know if you can put your heart in their hands again. You don't know if you can put yourself through that again. They left you, and they left you to do all the work on your own. So there's a lot of different feelings that are going to come upon everyone months down the road, months, sometimes years. And I'm not saying nobody should ever wait for anything. You should be hitting the ground. I want to say running, but you're never going to hit the ground running. First, you're going to hit the ground and just smash into a puddle. And then you're going to have to rebuild slowly. But focus solely on your rebuild while everything else is working itself out. Then start to entertain the idea of, do we want to speak again? Do we want to reconnect? What are the problems that we're having? And is it worth conversation? And most people are absolutely worth the conversation. And sometimes we want that just to have a better ending, even if we decide that that's the end. So there's a lot that's going to play out over the next few months, year, or even beyond after a breakup. So I want you to not get stuck and frozen in time at the moment of breakup. I don't want you to carry those words with you forever. I don't want you to buy into that and think that everything the other person said was 100% on point. A lot of people going through a breakup are emotional, even if they seem to come across as sure of everything. I want you to go into your own reality as well, because you know exactly what that relationship was. You know what you felt. You know the issues and the problems, and you are able to make a very good decision after a little bit of time passes. So give yourself time. Know that the other person is also getting very far away from ground zero, as I like to call it, the day that everything fell apart. They too are getting away from that moment. They're stabilizing on the other side. They're creating a life on the other side, and then they will sit with revisiting the relationship. Most people don't just cut it off and forget it ever happened and get amnesia and get into a new life and forget their past. They know what that past was all about. It's just a matter of when they get in their heads about it, what do they do about it? And that's anybody's guess. But you keep reminding yourself that if you felt like there was possibility in that relationship, they have to come to the same conclusion, because you deserve someone who doesn't run. Don't ever forget that. I don't care how many problems people have in relationships. If you say to yourself, I saw those problems, but I felt like they were overcomable, and I'm from the mindset of, I'm not going to run. I'm going to face it. I'm going to try to work through it. Obviously, if you try to work through things for a long period of time and you cannot get through them, then you make your exit. But if you feel like you're of the mindset of, I'm determined, I'm committed, I'm fully committed to trying to make it work, you need a partner who shares that mindset. If they don't, good luck to the next. Good luck. You need that. So understand that even if the other person did the breaking up, what do you need in a partner? Because if they come back around, these are the conversations that you need to have. Like, hey, we're going to go through it in life, but that's unacceptable. Running away and leaving me to go through all this by myself is unacceptable. So there's a lot of conversation that has to come with reconciling with a runner. But do your best to know the stages of the breakup as they're happening. I think I have videos of that on my YouTube channel. If not, I'll go make them. Know that you have to get through those stages, focusing on yourself, knowing that nothing happens overnight. But also, just because a person walks away and the conversation at the end seemed very final, there's a lot more to happen in their heads over a period of time. A lot. Whether you see it or not, doesn't matter. It's happening. It is happening. And no matter what you feel like now, everybody misses a good person. Everybody misses someone who was good and had a good heart. And there are so many great things about all of us that even if we have problems in relationships, we're going to take away the best of the person as well. So all of those things were part of who you were as a couple. Don't minimize yourself just because at the end the person picks out everything going wrong. There was so much that went right in that relationship. So give yourself time. I say have patience, and I know how hard that is, but you really have to have patience and have trust and faith that things are going to work out the way they're supposed to. Always say to yourself, if the person is meant for you, you're going to circle back again. Absolutely, that's going to happen. They're going to be part of your life in some capacity if that's the person, no matter what happens while you're separated. So calm yourself daily by telling yourself that, and then get right back to life. Rebuild yourself in a way that you surprise yourself. Shock yourself into who you can become, even from your lowest. Change happens in our lowest points, at rock bottom. Rock bottom is fertile ground for change. Use this time. Don't waste your pain. Do not waste your pain. And never forget how valuable you are. Never let a breakup determine your value. Ever. Ever. It's going to for a time being. So when I say things like that, I'm just reminding you of who you are. But it's going to steal every bit of your self-esteem for a while. That's going to happen. But your rebuild counts on you gaining yourself again, finding yourself again, feeling good about yourself again. It takes time. It takes time, but know that it's on the other side of this. It can only rain for so long before the sun comes out again. And it does, and it will, and you'll smile again. You'll smile a real smile again. You'll be able to laugh, and you'll be lighter. You will. You have this grief that you're carrying right now, and sometimes it's like a tidal wave, but you are going to get to the other side of this grief, one way or the other. You really are. You really are. So be patient with yourself. Know that this is a process. Try to get through the days the best you can. Rebuild the best you can, and put that life back together. You can do this, and I'm right here for you. So anyway, go with that today. Go with that today, and just get through today. Just get through today.